is Team Andersen Update, showcasing the people, mission, and quality of life that make Andersen the strategic center of excellence in the Pacific.
Hi, welcome to the first Team Andersen Update. I'm Colonel Dennis Larson, the 36th Air Base Wing Commander, and Andersen TV has entered a new age, video. For the last 18 months we've had some great people working to make this a reality. And why? Because we want to keep you better informed with what's going on Andersen Air Force Base and around the Air Force. Later on we're going to give you some details on how you can present your ideas, your thoughts, your videos on Andersen TV. Behind me is the venerable F-4 Phantom. I could tell you some stories about the Phantom, some of the things that I've done over the years with the Phantom, but that's not the idea behind ATV. The idea is for you to tell us your stories, what's going on in your units, where you live, where you work, and where you play. We're going to get better at this in 1995 of informing our people. But before I get into 1995, let me tell you a little bit about 1994. 94 was a great year for Team Andersen. I think back to last summer when we had our open house, all the folks that came out from downtown, and who can forget the fabulous Thunderbirds and the show that they put on. I remember being selected as the best looking base in all of PACAF. That was quite a reward for us, and quite a comeback from the 1992 typhoon season and all the devastation we suffered back then. And through all that, we also were selected as the Air Force Outstanding Unit. That was a fantastic success because we've got a lot of hard-working people that really did a great job to make Andersen better. We capped off the year with tandem thrust, certainly our largest exercise here on Andersen Air Force Base, but an exercise that really told us what we can and we can't do in the upcoming years in any type of contingency or crisis. So stay tuned to ATV over the next year. We're going to learn a lot more about what you do in 1995. What's going to happen in 95? Well, for one thing, I know we're going to have Burger King. Really, the long-awaited Burger King is coming, and sometime later this spring you're going to see the groundbreaking for the Burger King. Also this summer, the IG team's going to be here for a Quality Air Force assessment. That's also long awaited, but I'm sure not quite as eagerly as the Burger King was. We're going to have a lot of challenges this year and a lot of surprises, but it's going to be another great year for Andersen. And that's what I want now, is I want you to tell us about Andersen Air Force Base. So I'm going to wrap up now, but before I do, I have one more thing to present to you, and that is water safety. 1994 was a fantastic year for us. We didn't have a mishap all year. But that's not true in 1995, and in fact, we've already had one fatality. Later on in the show, we're going to have a piece that's going to talk about water safety. Please stick around and watch it, but most of all, when you go out to the beautiful beaches of Guam, please think safety. And that's all I have for you today, but I would like to introduce to you the host of the Team Andersen Update, Staff Sergeant Mark Fletcher. Mark, take it away.
Thanks, Colonel Larson, and again, welcome to Team Andersen Update. I'm Staff Sergeant Mark Fletcher, and I'll be the host of this program. And every month, we're going to try to bring you the latest happenings around Andersen and how you can get involved with Team Andersen Update. Right now, we want to do that by taking a look at news notes. The Youth Center's long-awaited reopening will happen in March. They're in need of instructors. If you'd like to be an instructor in dance, gymnastics, self-defense, arts and crafts, cooking, aerobics, cheerleading, modeling, wrestling, or physical conditioning, call 366-2142. The 4th Annual Guam Animals in Need Dog Show is set for March 11th at 9 a.m. Volunteers are needed to make this event a success. The proceeds go to help sterilize animals on Guam and reduce the wild boony dog population. Call 472-7332 if you can lend a hand. Speaking of volunteering, National Volunteer Week is coming up, and as you probably guessed, volunteers are needed to help plan the banquet. Join the fun and festivities by giving Sharon Saunders a call at 366-8136. The Skills Development Center is holding a More Than Words Valentine Craft Contest for those of you 7 years and older. Any 2- or 3-dimensional crafts can be entered. There are prizes for the top 3 winners in each age group. Deadline for entry is February 10th. Call 366-4248 for more information. And finally, the new publisher of the Tropic Topics is trying something different this year, Valentine Messages. If you would like to send one to your sweetheart via the base newspaper, it'll only cost you $5 for a 20-word or less message. Now, deadline for this is February 2nd, so if you'd like to find out more about Valentine Messages, give Cupid a call at 653-6142. Stay tuned. When Team Andersen Update continues, we'll let you know how the base did in the recent attack response exercise. We'll be right back.
Change. It's coming faster. Only those with high-tech skills will excel.
Power, 011, holding short of 16.
I'm getting those skills now in the Air Force. It's given me powerful tools, education, training, and experience. With Air Force skills, I can keep up with tomorrow's changes, and so can you.
Welcome back to Team Andersen Update. You know, the base kicked off the new year with an attack response exercise. According to Captain Tom Reppert, Deputy Wing Inspector, the exercise tests the ability of security police to deter a terrorist threat. However, this exercise involved more than just security police.
Team Andersen participated in an attack response exercise, which is an exercise, security police response exercise, to evaluate our ability to deter a terrorist threat. We tested the capabilities of the fire department and the med group quite a bit more than we normally would have. It also allowed us the opportunity to involve other outside agencies. We had a lot of bomb threats, a lot of mysterious packages, a lot of unidentified individuals walking around in areas that they shouldn't have been in. And so we were just trying to test the awareness of some of the other organizations as well. Based on our terrorist threat and the response that we showed, I feel real comfortable in Team Andersen's capability to defend the base. One of the primary objectives, and something that we'll continue to emphasize in upcoming exercises, we'd like to get the overall involvement level up. I think some people had a fear of messing up a scenario and they avoided them. What we'd like to continue to emphasize in the future is that if you see a scenario, treat it as if it were real. If you see an individual who has a heart attack or someone that gets hurt, simulate administering the first aid buddy care, make the notifications. That'll only continue to help us in our exercise objectives and make a more realistic scenario for us.
According to Captain Reppert, there'll be more exercises in the upcoming year. The next exercise will focus on mobility. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll take you to Naval Station in Agate, Guam, where we'll talk to Master Chief Dale Sturms about diving safety.
Don't be a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Welcome back to Team Andersen Update. I'm Staff Sergeant Mark Fletcher. You know, diving is a great sport on the island of Guam. Not only is it a great sport, but it's a big industry for the local government. Joining us to talk about some diving safety tips is Master Chief Dale Sturms, Master Diver from the Naval Ship Repair Facility at Naval Station Guam. Sir, welcome and thank you for joining us today. Listen, you know, a lot of people come on island, a lot of military people, and one of the recreations they take is diving. Can anybody, when they come on island, dive?
Absolutely. Anyone can dive. I know of no restrictions preventing you from getting in the water. However, those that do dive and take up the sport should be certified through one of the approved courses.
And how would they go about that? I mean, for those people coming on island?
Well, several of the bases here have local military dive clubs, and in the civilian community there are numerous dive shops that offer certification classes.
For those divers, they've never been before. Obviously, there's a lot of things you need to know. but it's a pretty dangerous sport. It can be. What kind of signals for those divers that are new when they go down with fellow divers can they look out for?
Well, I would say to start with, you should know your dive buddy. If you know your dive buddy, you'll be able to recognize if he's in distress or anxiety, increased bubbles coming from him, absence of bubbles. He may be signaling to you that he's run out of air or has equipment problems, or if you're on the surface, then he may need other types of assistance.
Obviously the island's great for diving, but are there any restricted areas or areas that you could recommend to those divers out there?
I don't believe that there are any specifically restricted areas. Generally, the areas that you should or shouldn't dive should be governed by local environmental conditions, currents, storms, weather, your personal physical condition, and the capabilities that you're certified to dive to.
When a diver is in trouble, obviously you take them here to the diving chamber, is that correct?
That's correct.
And can you run through that scenario with us and what happens?
Well, the basic scenario, when a diver is in distress or believes he has a diving-related injury, he should do one of two things. Call our chamber 339-7143 or Coast Guard Search and Rescue 339-6100 or 7100 and indicate that he's had a diving-related accident. That individual should be transported to our chamber by ambulance. Upon his arrival here, we will assess his injury, and we may or may not treat him in the chamber.
Obviously, safety is a big concern all the way around for diving.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add for those divers coming on island?
Just a few items that I think would help to improve the safety of individual dives on the island, and just 4 or 5 tips. And first of all, plan your dive. And then once you've planned your dive, guide your plan. And if things change in the course of that dive, then abort the dive. Number 2, dive a conservative dive profile. Diving is not an absolute science. There are inherent risks. You can eliminate some of those. Take care of your equipment. Your life depends upon your regulator, your BC, and the other gear that you're using at depth. Know your dive buddy, because you may need to call upon him to save your life. And finally, and most importantly, I believe, do not hesitate to seek medical attention. If you have a problem, the problem wasn't there when you started that dive, you should be calling the chamber.
Okay. Thanks for those important tips. We've been talking with Master Chief Dale Sturms. He's the master diver at the Naval Ship Repair Facility, Naval Station Guam. Again, if you're going to go out and dive, think safety and have a good time. Stay tuned. Right after this, we're going to take a look at what's happening in sports around Andersen. We'll be right back.
Has your job lost its luster? Are you tired of turning big rocks into little ones? Well, if you qualify, you can start getting more out of life as an Air Force recruiter. You'll enjoy the freedom and independence of working in your own office, and it may be right in your hometown. You'll also receive up to $275 a month in special duty pay. So if your job satisfaction seems to be falling a little short, call the Recruit the Recruiter team at DSN 487-2812.
And you will like it.
This is Team Andersen Sports Update with Sergeant Chuck Brown from the Bay's Fitness Center.
Hi, this is Sergeant Chuck Brown from the Andersen Fitness Center, here with your Team Andersen Sports Update for this month. I'd like to start off by saying congratulations to the Lady Bombers. Took second place in this year's Martin Luther King basketball tournament. They almost pulled it off, but lost to Sony in the last couple of minutes. Also, congratulations to the men's soccer team. Put on a good tournament over the new year. They came up just short, losing to Dakota 2-1, but still took second place. Congratulations to the soccer team. Also, over the new year, we had a flag football tournament down in Nicktam's, and in this one, Andersen took it home. First place for the second year in a row. Just showed them how to play football. Way to go, guys. Also like to let you know, upcoming March Madness, a varsity basketball tournament. We're going to have men's and women's teams from all over the PACAF. These teams from Osan, Yokota, and various bases. It's going to be some good competition. I'd like you all to come out and show the Bombers your support. We're going to have some good games and a good time. Intramural basketball is going on right now. We've got intramural basketball and over 30 going at the same time. They play Monday through Friday nights and Saturday mornings. If you'd like to have a copy of the schedule or know when your squadron plays, please call your unit sports rep We have some good games upcoming, and the tournament's going to start off in March. So come out and show your team your support, and let them know that you're there for them. Also, we have intramural racquetball is going to be starting up pretty soon. We're going to have a season. It's in the works right now, coordinating the dates and times we're going to be playing. So call your sports rep on that also. Any information you need concerning sports, intramural, varsity, any kind of fitness, give us a call here at the fitness center. The number is 366-6100. Also, coming up in the next few months, we should have our weight room reconstructed. We're going to have a new floor. As soon as the new floor gets here, we're going to put in our new equipment, all new Cybex and variable resistance equipment. Any information on that you might want to know, give us a call here also. The alternate number is 366-8282. Once again, this is Sergeant Chuck Brown for Team Andersen Sports. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, Chuck. You know, every month, Staff Sergeant Kevin Dawson and I will be taking the cameras around the base in different locations, pointing the camera in your face. We're trying to get your comments about sports, opinions, anything you want to say. It's called Sports Rap. Take a look.
Come on, guys. You know this.
San Francisco is the one, number one.
Power Rangers.
No. The Chargers are going to win, because I know.
49ers 52. Those other guys, the Chargers, I'll give them 10 points.
Because they have the biggest...
Power Rangers.
It's Dallas. Who knows Dallas?
That's great. That's good. You know, Sports Rap's always a lot of fun. We hope to see you out and about next month when we bring the cameras to your location. Right now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you my co-partner in this venture. This is Staff Sergeant Kevin Dawson. He's a videographer for the 36th Communications Squadron. And Kevin, we hope to make Team Andersen Update a big success.
That's right. And if you have an idea for Team Andersen Update, here's a list of unit public affairs representatives you can contact.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this month. We thank you so much for joining us on the first edition of Team Andersen Update. I'm Staff Sergeant Mark Fletcher.
I'm Staff Sergeant Kevin Dawson. We leave you now with scenes from 1994, a year in review.
We'll see you next month.